Hello, if you're watching this, I want you to know that it's good to be corny. It's good to be positive. I want you to know that regardless of the situation that you're in, you being positive is probably the best way out of that situation. Now, this is what I mean. A lot of times in life, we get into situations where negative things happen to us, and then we begin to think in a negative spiral. Someone has a negative emotion towards us, someone is calling us out more than they are calling out other people. And then we begin to think negatively about ourselves. First, we think negative about that moment, then we think negatively about ourselves, and then a negative thought leads to a negative thought. So the only way to get out of that situation is to force yourself to be positive. Yes, I'm saying force yourself. I'm saying use your power, use your energy to force yourself to literally think positive about the situation. Now, it could be a situation that's highly traumatic and you're thinking, hey, that doesn't seem really practical for me to force myself to think positively about this situation. When I say think positively, I'm not saying be super happy and joyful. I'm saying look for something you can use in that situation to move yourself forward. For example, if you're doing your job at work and you see that there is a large amount of possibly negative attention coming your way, choose to see that as, if you know you're doing your job and everyone's saying good job, and then there's one person who, once again, from your limited perspective, seems to be targeting you, just think I must be doing a really good job because this person is giving me extra attention. Even if it's negative, just choose to look for something positive in the situation. Because thinking negatively is only going to ruin your mood, it's going to lower your productivity, and it's going to honestly make you nervous, and then you have anxiety, and that it's not helping anything at all. And then another thing you want to realize is that you brought on that negativity in some way, shape, or form. And by that I mean, now this is this is going to be kind of interesting. We have basically life is like this giant thermostat, right? And the more positive energy that you put out into the world, the higher the energy of people is going to be around you. Because if you're so positive for so long, eventually people who want to be negative, they're not going to want to be around you. They're going to leave. They're going to be repelled. And if they are, and you've been doing it consistently enough, the people who are around you are already positive. So they're going to have two choices. Either they can leave or they can join the positive party. Okay? They can join the, yes, bad things happen to us. Life happens, but I'm going to choose to think of a way out. But when negative things happen, it's because at some point something bad happened, and then you internalized that, made certain decisions, which led to more negative decisions. And even though right now you're positive, you still, let's say it was, I don't know, you had a bad breakup, which caused you to splurge on Amazon and go shopping and buy snacks and go out to eat. And now you're overweight. Now you're being positive, you're working out, and let's say you come to a staircase. It's a very long staircase. It's the Rocky Staircase in Philly, okay? And you have to run this staircase, okay? It's life or death if you don't get up there in a certain amount of time. Because of your previous decisions, even though you've been positive right now, your previous decisions that led to negativity, you having a situation happen to you and choosing to dive into something negative, which was, overeating and overbuying, now you're overweight, which is going to make this situation that is happening right now even harder compared to if when that breakup happened. Once again, it's not a happy situation, but you chose to look for something positive in the situation. Like, okay, this person broke up with me. This is a good chance for me to focus on myself and focus on how to get better as a person and move forward, how to choose better partners or how to be a better partner. And then, I'll try to think of another example off the top. Let's say at some point I feel like relationships are like the biggest thing in our life. So anything, let's say, someone who grows up with a very traumatic childhood they get 18, they go off to college, and let's say, their parents weren't the most loving people, right? So they get to college and then they decide, well, I was neglected, so I'm going to use people and I'm going to neglect them. Okay, so then they build up all this animosity and resentment and all these people around them because they're strategically using and neglecting people, right? And then they decide to be positive one day. Well, guess what? They were negative for an extended period of time. So even though they're deciding to be positive, let's say they come across somebody who is from their past and it's like, hey, you treated me this way, so now I'm going to treat you this way as well. And then that person gets hurt. That negativity still came from something that they did. Now, life happens. And when I say life happens, that means people do negative stuff to us just because they want to, just because they're dealing with their own ish. Because once again, a negative situation happened to them, then they're choosing to project that forward to create more negativity and everybody else around them. Even when that happens, we already know what happens. The moment you choose to walk down that negative path, like practically, at some point, it can come back to you. It doesn't mean it have to, it doesn't mean it will, but it can. Someone can say something, someone can bring something up. Happens a lot to celebrities. In the past, when they were young, so-and-so relationship happened, they get older, they're doing well. An op-ed comes out and it says, hey, you treated me like trash back in the day. And it's like, oops, I did not mean to do that. I'm so sorry. Instead, when, the young kid could have been a little more positive. Now, this is the thing. We all are going to get into situations or have been in situations where we're going to react negatively, and that's okay. The main thing is, like, right now, that if you consistently choose to be positive more than negative, then the overall trajectory of your life will be positive. If every time you get fired or quit or a job says no, they're not going to hire you, you choose to respond positively and apply to more jobs and tell the employer, thank you so much. It was wonderful meeting you. Here's my email or phone number if anything changes. I love the way you guys ran the interview process. If you do that 100 times compared to just ghosting them or saying tons of negative things about them or taking subliminal shots on LinkedIn or Facebook or Instagram or whatever, the positive is going to come back. Like, once again, this is like practically, like practically it could actually come back because it's an actual action that happened in person. This is not a spiritual take we're doing. This is just like in life. If you consistently do good things, eventually someone's going to say something good about you. If you consistently do bad things, someone can eventually say something bad about you. But if you have more built up that's good than bad, then even if someone says something bad about you, people will look at your character and say, how long ago was that? But if you've just been kind of flippy floppy, then, if you've been really bad, then you're kind of like this, then the scale will go like this. If you've been really bad, you've been really good, and then someone's like, oh, they did this to me one time, then it's like, oh, well, you're in the middle. You can keep doing positive things, then it can go up even higher. And if you were positive as a kid because you had great parents and they raised you right, and then you had great experiences throughout the rest of your life, and you chose to continue to be positive and believe in people and believe in yourself and believe that you were loved and loved other people, then everything's going to go up. But life happens. So at the end of the day, being positive is really a practical mental tool that you use. We're not trying to be hyper spiritual. We're talking about you do good things even when you don't want to. And eventually people see that and then they want to do good things for you. And the last thing I'll say is this. Be corny, because corny makes money. Now, when I say be corny, I mean, once upon a time, I worked with someone who was so nice, everybody thought that they were fake. I remember this. I remember being around them and even me thinking like, this person is nice. This person is kind. This person is caring. This person listens to people. This person chooses to have a happy demeanor, like actually HAPPY all the time. And then when I got older, I would think back and I was like, why were we upset at that? Why were we upset that someone decided to be positive all the time? Why? And that all had to do with because we chose not to be positive and we didn't think that it was a practical skill. But this is the funny thing about that person who chose to be positive all the time. That person chose to be positive, made more money than all of us. That person was in charge of organizing all of our events. That's the person who was at top. And you want to know why they probably got that position? Because no matter what happened, they chose to look for the best solution. And if you keep doing that, then you're going to end up in a better place than someone who chooses to talk bad and then, well, yeah. Now, once again, you should have your special places where you get to vent. I think venting is very important. As someone who was an advocate for mental health and therapy before it became pop culture, yes, you should have people who you go to, who you can tell absolutely everything to, and you can vent and you can get nasty with. You need those people. Know who those people are. Keep them close. And yeah, you love those people. I love my people who are like that. They know who they are. So yeah, but overall, just make that decision, and I guess another tool I'm going to give you is just laugh. Sometimes things happen and there's a lot of energy built, and I've realized that for me, one thing that I can do when a lot of negative things are laughing is I get, maybe it's a stress laugh. I'm like oh, okay, all right, when I'm doing it right now, literally I'm thinking about a situation, because it's better. Because just because someone's being negative to you, it's like, why would you want their life to be more negative? They're just going to project more of this nonsense onto you, and you don't want that on other people. So anyway, thank you for watching. Like and subscribe. Follow on all social media platforms I'm on. Not sure where this will be yet, but I do believe this is going to help you and your friends. Have a great day. Peace out. Choose to believe.